Okay, so you may remember there was an anti-tamper there. That was removed. Replaced it with an ordinary Allen nut. There's one at the rear. Once they're undone, you can actually just pull out the cylinder. Okay, so as you can see, the cylinder is now out. It just pulls out once the back two screws are removed. The regulator kit came today, and there's a restriction in the back of the valve there. That needs drilling out to 2.8 millimeters, and that makes it a lot more efficient. You can actually see there's two slots either side. That's to get a spanner on to unscrew it, so you may need to put this in a vise, which I've got two of them, one up there, one there. Probably use that one, it's more heavy duty. Now, with most bottle rifles, what normally happens is you put the regulator between the bottle and the valve. Well, because this has got the extra cylinder on, the valve's down there. So the good part about this is the regulator fits in the cylinder just here, so the bottle doesn't go forward any more than it is. So fitting a regulator to this rifle don't change the appearance of it at all. taken off both the screws at the back. I did replace the rear grub screw look that I drilled out, and I've also replaced the one at the bottom there. And basically what all that does is screws into the, I don't know if you can see it, screws into that cut out there and locks it in place. Okay then, here's Jack's bowl for his Kral Pyrex. You can see I've drilled transfer port out. So what you have to do to make up for the extra power is pack out the valve spring. And in the pack comes some spacers. I've got one here. I'll see what difference that makes. Basically what it does, it makes the hammer harder to open with a standard hammer, so the power drops. Might need two in it. We'll start off with one. But it was doing about 29 foot-pounds just by drilling it out by 0.8 of a millimetre. Probably need two actually, but in fact I'm going to put two in. I think it will need it. Quite a soft spring on this compared to my Rexy Max. and hand tight's good enough on these. Okay, I've got Jack's Kral Puncher Empire X in front of me and a Robert Lane Regulator. Now what I've done, I've removed the anti-tamper on it. One of the main ones, if you want to do this, you've got two screws that hold it in. I forget which one it is now, but there's a brass anti-tamper cap on top of one of them. You'll need to drill that and pull it out. If you get some opposite thread drill bits, that normally, as soon as you start drilling, it'll pull them out anyway. But I'll leave you a link to the drill bits and the extractors. Not a lot of money. It's good for gunsmithing. So they, as soon as they come out, you can pull the tube out. Now the valve, you'll need to modify the valve or not, depending on what kind of tune you go for. If you go for a standard tune, you can leave it alone and just put the regulator in and do it from there. If you want the full tune, you're going to have to drill out the transfer port to 2.8mm. That actually puts the power up. So what you need to do next is, by using the packing in the hammer in the valve spring, put more tension on that, makes the valve harder to open, and it brings the power back down again. But basically it makes it more efficient with the air, and you don't need so much air to get the same sort of power. So that's all that needs doing to the valve if you're going to do it. You'll also need to remove the O-ring on it, so the regulator can breathe. So you take the main O-ring off, it butts up to the end of the reg. And what it allows you to do is, when the regulator's on, it's got a breathe hole at the top. So when that needs to breathe, it goes on the outside along the threads and it allows it to vent air. Right, so I did have a problem with this to start off with, and that was particular rifle has had different types of valve in it since it came out. The one on this is dated April 2022, and those valves are like this. The first valve I got, regulator I got, was designed to go inside that because the valve spring was in the bottom part of the casing, which screwed off. But in this case, it's on top. It's got a cap. So what you need to do, I'm using some Delrin spacers. Total thickness of these three comes to 12.12mm. So I'm putting two in top of the cap like that, and the third one you drill out 7mm, and it should be able to push that then on top of the valve. So what you need to do then, stick the valve in, and it also comes with an insert, a Delrin insert. It's got an O-ring at each end. So it's using some of the silicone grease. Let's get a bit up on that. Put it on both sides of that. And insert it in the valve. Like so. Get your valve spring in, and then pushing down, screw the cap back on. Now this particular valve spring is quite softly sprung, that's why I've had to use so many packers on it. Others are a lot tighter, so you don't need so many. Tighten that up. I get in. Where is it? Here it is. Some more grease. Put it on the bottom of the regulator. Find the top of the valve, which is where the two studs are, and on the regulator you'll see a hole in the top of the regulator. Also, what did I do with it? I think it was that one. Yeah. Got the O-ring on the rag. So the size of the actual cylinder was bigger than expected. So put a bigger O-ring on it to make up for that. Starting off getting the top of the start shoving it in. And then you do that up. And as that goes in, it will shove into the regulator and shove that in as well. But I might just nip it up. Yeah. So now I'm going to get the air tank and fill it up. Okay. As you can see, we're on a different day now. I've come to the end of the tune. What I did, as you could see, I packed the valve with 3 Delta wooden rushes, 12.3mm I believe. Set the regulator finally at 70 bar and wound back the hammer spring screw 1 1/4 turns That gave me an average of 11.2 foot-pounds, or an average of 699 feet per second. That was a high of 705, a low of 696. That gives us a spread of 9, standard deviation 2.7, 28 shots, 2 magazines. So I've not gone high with it, I've not gone low with it, I've gone 11.2. It's up to Jack if he wants to do it any higher than that. Easy enough to do. All we need to do is take the stock off, undo the Allen bolt locking screw for the hammer screw, which I put an Allen bolt in, and then you can just turn it clockwise to bring the power up, or anti-clockwise to take the power down again. So yeah, I mean, most of these things, it's a matter of balancing out the valve, the regulator and the hammer spring with the tune that you want. You will see I'll post some other things, what results I got without adjusting the regulator. Right, it started off at 90 bar. As you can see, at 90 bar it's too much, so I wound it down, finally came to the 70 bar, and then did fine tuning with the hammer spring. So you should get loads of shots. You'll get at least a tin of pellets once you tune it to this kind of tune. It's a 600cc cylinder on it, so I expect to get 500 or 600 shots. I think I did about 70 shots and only used up about 15 bar of the cylinder. So after that, you're gonna get loads. So that's the end of the tune-up. Big thanks to Robert Lane. As I say, I had to send one regulator back because it weren't the right fitting for this particular valve. And like I say, there's been different setups, and even the one I got, I had to put a larger O-ring on it, but it is sealing, it's not leaking at all, and it's working okay. Like I say, this one was made on the April 2022, so it's one of the newer batches. And here we go. So that is the regulator fit into the Kral Puncher Empire X. Thanks for watching.